My girlfriend said she thinks my guy roommate is trans and demands that I kick him out because living with a born female is cheating on her. Posted by 𝗧𝗿𝗀𝗆 I, 22M, have a roommate, let's call him Alex, 23M, who moved in about 6 months ago. I honestly never considered that Alex might be trans, not that I would care if he was, but that's not the issue. He is a short guy, probably under 5 feet 5 inches, has a lot of facial hair, muscles, and, in my opinion, looks a lot like a short Henry Cavill. No one I know has ever brought up this idea before. I've had friends and family over at our apartment, and this is really the part that gets to me because my mom is extremely against gay people. If she sensed anything was up, she would have caused problems right away. Alex and I get along. We're polite but not really friends. He's quiet but super polite, always pays rent on time, helps with chores, and even shares his cooking with me. I appreciate having him around, especially because my last 3 roommates were each their own horror story. The issue came up when my girlfriend, let's call her Sarah, 28F, came over one day. Alex was shirtless. Just to clarify, I forgot to tell Alex that she was coming over, and she noticed the scars on his chest. After that, she was quiet and short with me for her entire stay. When she got home, she blew up my phone, asking why I had a female living with me. I was confused and asked what she was on about. She said she knew that his scars were from top surgery and that he is short, so he has to be trans and a born female. I tried to explain that even if Alex is trans or a born female, there's no way I'd be attracted to him because to anyone who looked at him, he's clearly a guy. Plus, he's respectful and doesn't cause drama, unlike my last roommates, which she knows about. Just to be clear, I honestly still have no idea if Alex is even trans. I googled it, and those scars could be from some other surgery, like heart surgery or gynecomastia. I really don't have an argument for him being short, but there are plenty of short men. At first, Sarah wanted me to just ask Alex if he was trans, which, why the hell would I do that, or give her his last name so she could run a background check? I said no to both. Then she said this was a violation of trust and that if I didn't either find out if Alex is trans, and kick him out, or just kick him out altogether, she would have to reevaluate things. Basically, she was threatening to break up. I told her I don't do ultimatums, and we're done. Since then, she's been messaging me every single day for over 2 weeks, even after I blocked her on everything because she wouldn't leave me alone. She's pissed that I wouldn't do this small thing for her. Her messages range from, "Are you effing him?" to "Let's just talk," to "Why can't you at least give me closure and ask him?" Most recently, she told our mutual friend about the situation. That friend wants nothing to do with this crap show. I didn't feel bad at first, but after talking about it online, I've had some people say I should have just asked my roommate if he was indeed trans to keep the peace, or that I shouldn't have essentially chosen my roommate, who I've only had for about 6 months, over my girlfriend of 5 years. I wonder if I'm being unreasonable. I legitimately do not see how any straight dude could find Alex attractive, personally, but maybe I should have done something just to keep the peace. Edit to answer some questions. Did you break up with her? Yes. During a text conversation, we broke up. I always told her I had one rule: I don't do ultimatums. If she were to say, choose X or me, I would leave. I put up with a lot of verbal and physical crap, but I don't tolerate that kind of BS. Ages? I was 17, and she was 22 or 23 when we got together. It's been a long time, so I'd have to look back to make sure. But yeah, I was definitely 17. We got together the day I turned 17, our anniversary is my birthday. We couldn't get together before then because of the age of consent in my state, which I now understand is really messed up. I don't know if it helps, but we've known each other our entire lives. My mom is her mom's best friend. When my mom worked, I would go over to Sarah's mom's house so I wasn't alone. We started talking and flirting when I was about 15 or 16 but didn't cross any physical lines until I turned 17 because I didn't want her to get arrested. I get that it sounds bad, I really do. But at the time, I didn't see it as bad. Just in case it's asked, our moms encouraged it. Why would you want to be with someone like that? I don't, I really don't. I didn't realize it was transphobia until some people here talked to me about it. I thought it was just her being jealous, but I now understand how messed up it is. Please understand I live in the Bible Belt. I didn't even know trans people existed until I was 16. My personal thoughts are that I don't see a problem with people being trans or transitioning. At the end of the day, it isn't my business. Is Alex trans? I have no clue. He could be, but he could have also had breast cancer, gynecomastia, heart surgery, lung surgery, or any number of other procedures. It's not my business. Is Alex safe? I'll talk to him when I get home and then talk to my landlord. I will change my gate code and have her removed from the allowed guest list. I'll also ask my landlord not to let her in personally. She hasn't been too violent in the past, but I also didn't know she was this unhinged before either. Was there abuse? I feel like this has been implied in some questions. I don't know. Has she insulted me? Yes. Has she been physical? Yes. But nothing crazy, slapping, pushing, shoving, but never anything like punching or drawing blood. Why didn't you ask Alex about his scars? I have a few reasons. First, I personally wouldn't like it if someone asked me. Second, my mom has scars all over her body for different reasons and gets livid if you ask her about them. Third, and probably the reason that confuses people the most, I didn't really care enough to ask. I was curious, but mostly I just thought, and went on with my business. Edit. About the age thing and putting hands on me, this isn't me justifying it, I'm just explaining my side here. Any part of me that thought it was weird when I was younger was dismissed by everyone else around me. My mom got with a guy twice her age when she was 16, had me, and then raised me on her own after he got arrested for something else. She started joking about me and my ex being a cute couple and getting married when we were kids. Even when I was 12 or 13, she made jokes about sneaking me into her prom. My ex's mom also encouraged it because she and my mom are best friends. I thought this was normal. I thought her losing her temper and raising her hands was normal. I thought her insulting me wasn't her but the anger talking. If you have everyone around you telling you something is okay, even if it isn't, it really does mess with you. She is also literally the only woman I've been with, and I haven't even been friends with a woman in a long time because that made her uncomfortable. I get that I was dumb, but try to see my side here. Update 1 day later. I talked to Alex. I got advice suggesting I should either be upfront and completely honest, hide the trans part, or just not tell him at all. I don't know if it was the right decision, but I went ahead and told him because, once I was face to face with him, I couldn't help but do it. To clarify, I did not ask him about his scars or mention them specifically. I said my ex-girlfriend was under the impression he was a trans person. I made sure to say I didn't care whether he was or wasn't and explained that I broke things off with her, changed the gate codes, added her to the do not let in list, and all that drama. Before I even said anything, he asked if I was okay. Like I said, he's a chill dude. He also not so subtly asked the same questions a lot of commenters asked, essentially wondering if I was in an abusive situation. I told him I didn't know, but whatever kind of situation it was, it's over now. The thing that really kind of messed with me is that he called me his best friend. I regret not mentioning in my earlier comments that we were close. I realize now that we have different definitions of close because he's introverted and I'm not. We talked about irrelevant stuff for a while, and then the question came up, would you care if I was trans? To summarize, yes, Alex is trans mask. He had top surgery when he was 19 and has been on hormones since he was 18. He even has a tattoo with the date he started testosterone. While the idea that he could have been a guy with gynecomastia, cancer, or something else is completely reasonable, it just so happens that Alex is trans. And I don't care about that, Alex is Alex. I did show him the post and got his permission to update things. I wouldn't have otherwise. He's also roaming around this post somewhere, but probably won't comment. Notes. Alex is going to help me find low-cost or sliding scale therapy because he personally hasn't heard good things about the college's therapy services. Like everyone else has said, yes, it was abuse. I see that. I will also hold myself to higher standards in the future. Alex sent me information about the therapist he sees, and I'll contact them in the morning. The landlord knows there was a domestic incident, and I trust him to make sure my ex doesn't show up. The do not allow list was made with this in mind. I'm not ready to talk to my mom about this yet, but I hope, with some therapy and time, I will be. She knows something is going on, but she believes this is a break, not a breakup. Sorry if this sounds like rambling, it is. It's been a rough couple of weeks, my brain is fried, and I'm tired. Keep in mind, I'm still a full-time student. I also have to keep my grades up for my grants, scholarships, government aid, etc. I do read all comments, even the not-so-good ones. I'll try to respond more before I sleep tonight, but just know that, even if I don't reply, I've read them. I appreciate all the advice, the kicks in the rear, and the sympathy. A side note, I've seen a lot of trans people comment on this post, and a few have reached out to me privately. I'm thankful for your comments as well. It's brought to my attention how tough things are out there. Honestly, I felt what I did was the bare minimum and not worthy of praise because it should just be expected. But I see now that it's being praised because of how low the bar is when it comes to basic human decency toward you, and I'm sorry for that. I hope things get better. Second update 1 day later. I talked to the therapist Alex recommended. Normally, I would be on the waitlist until January, but due to the situation, the therapist referred me to one of his associates, and I'll be seen as early as next week. I was also recommended to attend a domestic violence support group that gathers once a month. Initially, I wasn't going to go because the idea made me incredibly uncomfortable, but Alex said he'll go with me. At least I'll know someone there, and we can leave if it feels too weird for me. My mom is aware of the breakup, but she's not too happy about it. I didn't mention the trans part. I told her that Sarah was being controlling and that I didn't want to put up with it anymore. I got the usual that's a normal part of any relationship comments, but I stood my ground. My mom seems to be under the same delusion as Sarah that this is just a small argument or something, and that we will get back together. But that is absolutely not happening. I don't really talk to Sarah's mom, so I don't know her thoughts on the matter. The landlord is aware of the situation and will not let Sarah in should she try to show up. If you don't have the gate code, you have to go to the main office. The employee, the landlord's son, will either buzz the person in if they are on the accepted list or call the tenant to confirm if they aren't on the list. If the individual is on the do not let in list, especially if it involves a criminal matter, they will be asked to leave. If they don't leave, it becomes trespassing. I know this sounds like a lot, but the security is why many people choose to live here. Notes after reading some comments. I am sorry for trivializing my abuse. It still feels weird to call it abuse, but I do know that it is abuse. Slapping, pushing, and shoving are physical abuse, and if someone else told me their partner was doing that, I would call it abuse. It's not that I don't think women can be abusive, but as I mentioned in one of the comments, I don't view it as abuse when it's directed at me. This is probably due to being abused by my mom, which I'm going to get help for. For reference, when I mention my mom's abuse, it's why I'm low contact with her. The reason I was extremely underweight as a kid was that she just straight up didn't feed me much of the time. CPS got called a lot but never did anything. They also didn't take any claims by my teachers that I was being abused seriously because there were no marks or bruises. This has warped my view of abuse. Going forward, if I date again, I won't put up with any physical or verbal abuse. A couple of comments helped me by suggesting that if I'm unsure whether something is wrong, I should think about how I would feel if it were happening to someone else. This has been helpful in shaping my understanding of what is right and wrong in terms of how I'm treated. After a lot of talking, it turns out Alex and I have been friends this whole time, but because I've never had an introvert friend before, I didn't really realize it. Alex says he didn't want to annoy me by trying to chat with me all the time, which, ironically, is how I was feeling too. Now we're going to hang out more, and he's trying to get me to join the D&D game he's in. Thank you for reading my giant block of text. I'm on the app, and I don't exactly know how to format it properly. I'm grateful for all the comments, whether good or bad, I do read all of them. Op in the comments. I agree with your comment, but unfortunately, my mom is already aware of 𝗧𝗏's physical and verbal abuse but hasn't really done anything about it. She has made excuses for 𝗧𝗏, saying things like 𝗧𝗏 just needs help, she's stressed, or that it is an abuse because 𝗧𝗏 didn't leave marks or bruises directly. My mom isn't happy about the breakup and is currently in denial. The roommate issue hasn't come up yet, but if it does, I plan to say that Alex had heart surgery, which is the excuse Alex uses.